She was going back to high school.
Oh, yeah.
And you had the birthday? Oh, you're not.
All right, we are live. Jerry, let me just start recording.
Okay.
We are ready to go. Oh,
Kathleen, are you in Kevin's office?
Not Kathleen, Mary Claire.
I mean.
I am not. I'm in Nora Hayes's office on the third floor of our house. So everyone is relegated 2 floors below me while this meeting is happening. So we won't disrupt anything.
To hide, right? Okay, well. Yeah. So that.
Feedback from you, Mary Claire.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, great.
Okay.
Do we have? I can't think while I hear myself. Do we? Full connections or something? Or
I don't think so.
America, you probably just have
No.
to mute unless you're speaking, then we won't hear ourselves.
Yeah.
Is it better now? I'm
Can't hear you now.
But we can't hear ourselves either.
Oh,
So
Would
it's
it-
okay.
did I do something?
No, she can unmute when she needs to talk.
Oh,
I'll unmute when I'm going to speak and then I'll make sure I keep myself muted. That's what it was. I apologize.
no problem. Okay, good. All right, we're good.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to the Borough Park Summit Special Meeting, March 29th, 2023, 7 p.m. In attendance, we have Ms. Lopez. Present. Ms. Summerall. Present. Ms. Kehoe.
Here.
Mr. Beston.
Here.
Mr. Mitchell.
Here.
Mayor Kelly.
Here.
Mr. Shields.
Here.
And Solicitor Hayes. Absent is.
Here.
Dave said he may be on late, but he did have a conflict tonight, so.
Okay. No problem there. Okay, we have no public comment. No customers here. So for discussion, we do have,
Our county representative to talk about CDBG.
right,
Yeah.
we'll
Come on
let you come first before we go.
All right,
over the other
appreciate it.
items, just so that,
Well, thank you, Council, for having me today. My name is George Vitzke, I'm from Lackawanna County.
right.
I'm just here to give an overview of the Community Development Block Grant Program and take any questions you may have or get them to the appropriate people in our department after this meeting is over. The Lackawanna County Department of Planning and Economic Development is the administering agency for the Community Development Block Grant Program in the county. CBG funds are federal funds from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, which are administered by the PA Department of Community and Economic Development. There are 11 town communities, of which Parks on Borough is one, and 27 non-town communities in Lackawanna County, Pennsylvania. To be considered a town community must have a population of 4,000 or more and meet the current minimum standards of physical and economic distress of the Federal Urban Development Action Grant Program. The 2023 allocation is not available. The state has told us we hope to have it by mid-May. So as soon as we have that available from the state, we'll forward that to the borough. Currently, Clark Summit has $385,727.37 in their fund, which can be spent on projects. And as soon as we have the 2023 funding available, that information will be provided to the borough as soon as we get through our office. They said they expect that by mid-May. The objectives of the community development program include to assist communities in preparing community development plans designed to address significant needs of low and moderate income residents. To assist communities in administering community development activities designed to address a number of community development needs, identify the community development plan. To encourage and assist communities to focus upon and address housing and community facility problems and to pursue economic development and commercial revitalization activities through public-private investment initiatives that will result in the development and expansion of job opportunities within the Commonwealth. Provided by HUD, there's numerous eligible activities. Some of the ones our department has most recently worked with include water and sewer improvements, stormwater improvements, street improvements, parks and recreation facilities, and senior center facilities. There's also numerous ineligible activities. They include the buildings and portions thereof used for general conduct of government, general government expenses, operating maintenance expenses, pool activities, purchase of construction equipment, purchase of fire equipment, purchase of furnishings of personal property, and income payments. When projects are evaluated in the office and passed through the state, they have to meet one of three national objectives. One of the objectives is to benefit low to moderate income persons, to address the prevention or elimination of slums or blight, or to address the immediate threat to the health and safety of the community. More extensive information was provided that can be available at request. That's basically a summary of the program right now. The borough obviously have to decide what kind of project they'd like to do for the 2023 application and get project ideas to our office through the borough manager and engineer. So we are at the point now where we're trying to get projects for the next year and spend the money that's available. So, so once we have the allocation available, we'll get that to you as well. So that's all I have. If any questions or comments, I will try to address them. If not, I'll get them to a proper person to do so.
I was just reviewing this 3-year community development plan.
Yes,
It looks like there's a lot of cool projects that potentially you could use the funds for.
yes.
I guess, is that those needs or projects, did we give them to you, or did you guys help us sort of decide those would be good items?
They get reviewed by our office in the state. If it meets the income requirements, the biggest challenge obviously is income hours. They have to benefit low moderate income individuals or address a safety need. And one of the biggest problems, not the problems, the challenge Park Summit has is meeting the income threshold. So for example, a lot of the community centers, we're doing Scott Township Military Civic Center, but their civic center benefits low to moderate income individuals. So again, that's a pass that obviously goes to the borough manager who submits it to our office. Then gets reviewed by the state and either declined or proceed further. So that's a discussion between the engineer and the borough.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, so I see here the criteria for that's where they talk about
Yes.
like 51% or something.
Yeah,
like that.
51%, yes. In certain areas, for example, are designated as low to moderate income. So then it doesn't require actual a survey, but in the Clarksville borough, I don't think there's really many locations that are designated as such. So some boroughs have certain tracts of land that are designated as low to moderate income.
So you'll let us know when the funds are available, and we'll talk to Virginia. We can just work on a
We already
project.
We have
have some funds
Quite a
available.
bit of money available right now.
I haven't gotten an update on our elevator project, or not, I'm not our elevator, the handicap door for the elevator lobby.
Right.
Right, that was one we decided on last year. I haven't heard anything on.
I'll check that with Peggy in her office and Val. I think that was approved. I think we also want to try to find bigger projects as well, so we could
Yeah,
spend it, especially the 2018 money, the older money. We
right,
want
that's what
actually-
I'm worried about
Yeah, we want-
losing. That's why I want to get this
We want to clear the
elevator.
money out.
work.
The state wants to clear the money out. Of course, they want to spend it, but it's a challenge sometimes to find projects.
What about like sewer stuff? I mean, that's quality of life. Would that be, I mean, affect?
Only if it's in a low income area.
Has to
We've
be.
already been in, through that. Nichols Street was eligible, but we haven't found anybody else in town yet that's qualified. How about, we used to have seniors and handicapped as part of this list. They're no longer included?
It depends on for example, doing a community center. It depends on, I guess you say the overall percentage of who uses the facility. One of the challenges, for example, we have to make sure we're doing a Head Start playground. We have to guarantee that only individuals meet that income level use that playground. So that's why it's a challenge. So someone, even can't prove that, but that's they decline things.
How about handicapped equipment at a playground?
Absolutely, that's one possible. Yes, that's one
That's
possible
a
activity.
picture.
We accessibility to Jessup. We're doing a Jessup Park project. We're doing accessibility to their bleachers. That's one a potential idea that could possibly be forwarded. We still obviously need a cost estimate in discussion with the engineer if they want to go down that route.
And that's why seniors in Bedford Street, I mean, they were kind of mentioned a little bit in this. Is that
Right,
something?
we did the sidewalk on Bedford Street with CDBG money in the past. They did count. But so Bedford Street would count if we needed to do work on Bedford Street, but right now we don't.
No, also, Joe, that Bedford and Linden Apartments, they're low income. A lot of them are financed under HUD and so on. Would they qualify for that? They've been looking for bingo machines, because there's just don't work. But at any rate, we got prices from both of them, but would this be something that they possibly could? Because
I don't know if that makes it out CBG, but I can see what we. I can check into that if we use information. We have to use information from the engineer and the cost estimate. Because the state wants to see a cost estimate of the project and the scope of work, and if it meets their determination. We look at any project possible. Ideas are perfectly fine, so we can evaluate every idea that's possible sent to us.
So can things be done on quote unquote private property, like
No.
Linden Street okay, because Linden Street and Bedford Street apartments, they're not owned by the county or us.
No, we can't do
So-
private property, unfortunately, no.
So we
Oh, so that would not.
If it was a housing authority, it'd be a little different, but if it's,
That's a different.
yeah, so
Right.
we do work in housing authorities in the past, but again, like Dixon City Veterans Drive is a housing authority project, so if it's a private property, you cannot do that, no.
Are projects at the Hillside Park Community Center eligible? We're a co-owner of that facility with 4 municipalities, and there's a high percentage of senior programming there.
most of the work that's been done on the senior center was.
But because it's no longer ours explicitly.
Well, no, we were told that they weren't going to spend any more money on there because the county wouldn't allow it because we've spent most of our money there. That whole building was built and the
Right.
additions put on with CDBG money.
What about?
That's been years
Maybe
ago.
it's been years, maybe.
Yeah, that's before I would go to mention the project, I go into that as well, it's just, we send me a list of these ideas, that'd be great, 'cause again, that's before my time, I wasn't even aware those even built, you can see, which is like,
One quick question. I see you can't buy like fire protection equipment.
yes.
But put a local volunteer fire company. I mean, if you can get it fit
That would-
in
that would
the
involve-
criteria.
That would fall for CDBG funding, no.
What about handicap accessible bleachers for Hillside Park? Was that ever? an
They have
option?
no bleachers
There's no
there.
bleachers at all. Or was that
There are
not-
bleachers by the softball fields, but they're not handicapped accessible.
Oh, I was thinking the higher field where lacrosse is.
There's nothing up there. There's no bleachers. or anything up
No.
there.
Yeah,
That's another potential idea, is we're doing a solar project in Jessup Memorial Park, we're adding handicap accessibility to their bleachers.
That's a very busy place. There's a lot of
Yeah.
activity there.
Because that project itself is fairly not really cheap, we're trying to find big projects as well to spend all the money that you have, because we like to obviously use it before you don't lose it, so.
Are paving projects that create handicap parking eligible?
Depends on the area, if it goes by service area. So it goes by the income of the individuals that are in the area, it goes by income, and also if there's a community, if there's like really the income dependent in terms of paving. We have to do what's called surveys, with the survey in the neighborhood, and it's a percentage of people are classified as low moderate income individuals.
And
I know, like, for example, a housing authority, Troop Memorial Park, right, is a housing authority troop. It's all LMI, so we're able to pave that without having to do surveys. That's designated by census wise as an LMI area. And I don't believe there's areas of Park Summit designated as LMI
I'm
areas.
just thinking the handicap parking angle.
It would have to be still goes by LMI again. So we have to survey and survey the residents and see what their income levels would be.
I could be wrong on this, but my guess is gonna be like, we already know that part of Nichols did qualify. Bedford Street, we can qualify for most things. I imagine probably the lower end of Powell, we might be able to qualify. But we did have difficulty, like we tried to do sidewalks on North State Street and we did the survey, the door to door, and even though they're rentals and stuff, no. It didn't qualify. Depot Street did, but we already put a ton of money in there. So you really need to think about who's going to live on the section that you're working on. Like with Bedford Street, we couldn't extend that sidewalk beyond Bedford Street because then you had to start surveying the neighbors that live where it would be. So that's what you need to keep in mind with when you're doing this.
But it's about 20% of the Clark Summit population qualifies for this, so.
Right, but
It's
possibly, but again, if
It's
you're
all
talking about a
clustered.
geographic a project that affects a geographic area like paving, you need to have them clustered in that area. So that's why I'm thinking like lower end of Powell, Bedford, maybe the very lower end of Center Street.
I was thinking paving at the park because that is an issue there, but that's probably an absolute no go because there's there's no. I don't know how you survey for.
Usually what, when they try to do some of the solar project, they turned it down. They had DCR grant though to do their paving project for the paving, but they did approach for CDBG funding. We were doing handicap accessibility there, but we couldn't do the paving in their lot.
How about just paving handicap spaces, dedicating, creating handicap spaces and paving them?
That's a
I mean, at
potential
least-
idea. Check with.
Okay.
Those are actually, well, this is a new, I'll check into that. That's not a bad idea either.
Eric?
I thought this ran through my head. How about the garden, the community garden over there? Is there something, well, that's for everybody's benefit. Can you do something over there?
They're not gonna
It
count.
wouldn't
as low
qualify for this
income.
program.
What's that?
They won't qualify as low income. A lot of the people that use the garden or that do the garden are,
But that's hair splitting. I mean, everybody, I mean, somebody that's planting tomatoes probably doesn't have a lot of money.
right, but it's gotta be 51% or more.
That's approval too, yeah.
That's restrictive. I mean, you'd have to take a poll of everybody coming in there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, how much should I do?
I know,
I
exactly.
mean, that's not,
That's the challenge of that's the challenge of the program we have, we're trying to get funding spent.
well, not what the thought I had about the garden. Anyway.
Let me ask you this, you're talking low income, but let's name a street, any street in the borough. And people in these houses have all different incomes.
That's correct.
So how do you pan out low income?
Right.
If this guy over here is making 100,000 a year, and the guy next to them works in McDonald's.
51% or more of the geographic
geographic
area
area.
that we're talking about doing. So if you want to pave an entire block, then at least 51% of the people that live on that entire block have to qualify. If you're talking about just doing one section of it, or you can only, like, if there's a section that's that low income, but then the block gets, like I said, Powell, I think the
Yeah.
top of Powell would never qualify. The bottom of Powell, like that first block, maybe the second block of Powell, maybe you could do it, who knows?
So dictating income on one street, even though somebody makes very little money and somebody makes a lot of money, and all of how many houses are in a block, I have no idea.
Mhm.
But, every house takes a different income, but if you don't meet qualifications for low income,
Mhm.
then nothing gets done. I don't know. how
What
you
is the
reason
label,
that.
what is the level for low income? Last I heard it was like 35%. Yeah, it started like 35%,
It does, yes.
35,000.
You're correct about your whole geographic area. He has made a great point as well. It goes by the whole cluster of the area. We survey, the surveys are done. There's I don't do the surveys, but we have a consultant that does the surveys. There's an equation they have where it goes by their whole cluster. So even if someone who makes $100,000 versus someone makes, lower, it goes by the whole area, unfortunately, and that's beyond that's the federal guidelines, unfortunately.
Joe, who's like, let's say somebody doesn't really, they have an idea like that one I just thought about the community garden. Well, who actually goes, oh, let me go take this survey. Who's doing it?
Like also, we do the surveys if we have,
Okay, yes.
yes, we have an apartment that does the surveys, yes.
Yeah, the county does. When we did the North State Street, I walked up and down with the person from the county to do the surveys on the home.
So we do mail, so first we stop by mail, we also go out and walk the street and do that.
Let me ask you this, Joe, like, maybe some people, when they're doing these surveys, are reluctant to tell you what their income is.
Well, we have to get so many returned to even move forward. And we have a letter that goes explains to residents what the reason why we're going out and is the benefit to their area. And if we can't get a certain percentage, we usually work with the borough to make sure we get the percentage returned, to even move the project even forward.
There's not names on these
There's no names,
surveys.
they're anonymous surveys.
Well, it's tough. I mean, it's some nice ideas, but it sounds like it's restrictive.
Yeah.
It seems
It
that,
is very restrictive, yes.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
very targeted in who they want to benefit. So that's our problem.
Lakely Borough, I'm not sure where they got their money. But they did all the Main Street brand new sidewalks. Now, would that work on couple streets in the borough? Powell Avenue?
I listed the ones I think
You
would
know.
qualify. Probably that would be it.
Because again, how do you answer these questions?
You could,
Who's making money next door to you and who
if you
isn't?
feel that the street might qualify, then we can start the project and the county will go out and do the surveys.
Mhm.
And if they determine that they get enough response and the percentage is there, then we're good for that project. But so we really have to come up with a project in an area before they'll do the survey.
And Joe, I'm sorry, one quick question. So you said like low to moderate income is 35,000, that's household income?
Yes,
And is it up to like, it's up to 35,000 or is it?
I know that I can provide you the income levels that are current. I guess I can actually email the income levels to you and you can forward the court wants to.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
it's low. I remember that.
And also the survey requirements, how it works, so I can give that process to you as well. We'll survey any area that is requested, it's just a matter of.
We just don't want to waste your time if it's.
Yes,
Right.
we do a lot of surveys.
Yeah.
You mentioned Blakely. Blakely has an area that's actually through a census tract is designated. We call it the Mott Haven section. It's very near, close to the park where it's in low and moderate income area. So any road in that area automatically qualifies because the federal government has designated that as a low and moderate income area. That's a series of 5 to 6 roads that was designated by the federal government as LMI. How? That's beyond us, but that's through census information.
That's weird.
This is the federal government. That's well beyond me, so that's it.
Because I know many people on. And I know they're not low income, so it's sort of odd that. I know Blakely Borough, I have friends on that street and I know.
Well, that's why I'm saying that part of Blakely. I'm not from the Bay Street project. I know we did a project in Blakely. That wasn't Main Street. That was sort of in the borough itself that had a tract of land that was designated as LMI. But I'm not sure about the project you're speaking of. That wasn't through our office. I don't know.
Okay. Well, they got money somehow. They got the entire borough,
Right.
the Main Street.
So if you shoot ideas to me, like after tonight, just shoot me emails with ideas, I can run them past the county.
And how long do we have to utilize the funds?
5 years, so the 2018 funds have to be used this year.
Yes,
How much do we have left?
It's the one page,
it's $385,727.
That's what's left after we've got.
That's
not counting this year. What about 2018 specifically, though? I know I saw that number.
Yeah, there's 318 left over. One from the elevator. There's I break it down by year, but there's.
Okay, so we have 43, roughly 43,000 from 2018 we have to spend this year.
So it's use it or lose it on that.
Use it or lose it. The door would come out of that, but.
It won't be that much, it'll be
Yeah, so we definitely need to use that. 2019, we have another 83,000 that we have to use by next year. So we're gonna we need to get moving on these.
I have a quick question. The West Grove Street at the library, are there currently sidewalks there? Or it's saying a need for sidewalks? There's none at all?
No, there's no sidewalks by the library.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
'Cause that's a pretty busy place.
yeah, but again, the people that live up in that area aren't gonna count as low income.
Right.
See, that's
Unfortunately.
They're making straight, yeah, they're.
These are ideas.
They're nice
that
ideas.
Are not, there's no consideration given to eligible ideas.
This is, when it says eligible.
It's getting much more difficult. They're all right now.
Yeah.
Everybody has a lot of money saved up, but they don't want to spend it. And
Well, actually, they don't know wording.
we, in the state, they'll check everything, no matter what, we can't,
Yeah.
even if we do a stormwater improvement project, they'll check to see if there's runoff going down to a higher income level on Main Street. Yeah, so we survey the whole, our department goes on, there's a lot of work on making sure it's covered, so.
That's.
We tried doing sidewalks on State Street, trying to make the sidewalks more handicapped accessible. But because the majority of people that walk on them are not handicapped, they wouldn't qualify.
For an example, where I live on Carnation Drive. We have no lights. We have 2 lights and 1 light on 500 block. Wouldn't that be a safety issue? Wouldn't it be nice?
Streetlights,
Yeah, but.
Yeah.
that's not gonna, streetlights are a monthly rental, so that wouldn't
No, I
qualify
mean,
for this.
installing it, if we had the money to install lights on all of the streets on Carnation Drive.
Yeah,
But
that's
they
never gonna
won't,
qualify.
but yet then the money is gonna be sent back because you have nowhere to spend it.
That's why we put so much of it into the senior center. It was an easy qualification. It was a big need there. and it was an ideal
And
solution.
I think there are some projects at the community center that need doing. Lot needs to be repaved, the roof needs to be redone.
I think-
We have nothing else to spend our money on.
But the
Right.
thing is, right, the thing of it is, the county owns that now, so.
No, we own it. It's.
The Hillside Park owns it. But can we spend,
That's right.
the Hillside, the joint rec board is at 5, it's an authority with 5 different municipalities. Can we put our money into something that is run by 5 lands that are owned by 5 municipalities?
That's the chicken, because there's also money that goes towards the non-town communities too.
Right,
So I'm not sure if they would have to have a, someone
Separate.
put one in the process itself, but, that's something you want to go down, obviously, we'll check if that cleared by the state or not.
I'll run that.
It was not, I guess, basically depends on how the state wants to handle that money.
Another thought just came to my head. Yeah, I'm having one of these thought nights. I think.
Good, Eric.
How about the garbage can things?
They're
We
gonna
were
say
we were
no.
talking about those,
What garbage, you mean,
On
getting,
stage-
huh?
ones that are on the street that they, you know.
On stage,
Oh,
they'll probably
We
say
can
no.
get sidewalks for handicapped on State Street, they're not gonna give us garbage cans. But the Rotary is replacing them.
Rotary,
The Rotary's
Yeah,
doing that.
just like, maybe this would be additional funds,
Yeah.
like, I know we were talking about there
Could
might be
we-
problems. Trying to
Could
get
we
rid of.
get, garbage pails and recycling bins for the elderly and the handicapped? So they're available, you know,
Where are you speaking, of, Virginia?
huh?
Where about you speaking? of?
No, I'm talking about having this, the borough getting a supply of like recycling bins, like, yeah,
Oh.
but you have to be 65 or older or be low income in order to get one for free.
Oh.
So maybe
These
something
would
like
be
that.
similar to the ones that we did get in the past,
Yeah,
Virginia.
yeah.
A grant for or something.
Yeah, that was through DEP though, so,
Right, so.
they won't give
I'm
us another
wondering
one.
if this would qualify for something like that too, though.
Yeah, I'll write that one up and see how it
And that
works.
community center might be the one of better,
Community center, if
I'm not sure how it works with the different ownership wise, but it's something we obviously look into, and,
Mm-hmm.
they're obviously non-town communities, that they have their own pot of money as well. Perhaps to be some kind of sharing type of, agreement that has to be put in place, but that's, we have to run by the state.
Okay,
One quick question, Joe. 21% of the, I guess, the people in Clark Summit are renters of their property.
Right.
I mean, we don't have any sort of rental ordinances or any sort of like any sort of like procedures with on like inspections or looking after rental properties. Can you use the money for, you know, in order to set something up like that for professional services or?
I don't know that, that's all right down. I don't want to say no, but, I don't know, so I look into that.
there is money, if we could to condemn properties, though, right?
Right,
Condemn
so-
money. So that is something to think about, but we'd have to condemn, I mean, we'd be taking away a house from somebody.
Can you do that in a property that is in a neighborhood that is not LMI? Can you still condemn and use funds for that?
The house, yeah, that, for blight, yeah, because that's not LMI then, that's blight, right?
That's considered blight or safety,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. So it can be done,
Is the foundry considered blight?
huh?
The foundry is, I would think, blight, but,
Oh, that's actually,
you know, that is. a
that's
thought, too.
actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
I will
That is.
run that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, by the end of this week, I'll send you an email with the whole list and descriptions that you can
It's
check
really
out.
something that they can get to our valid goods to the state, just to start the process of, what is best likely to qualify at least.
Right, perfect.
Joe, you had mentioned also about the fire department too.
Yes,
What qualifications would the fire department need to?
we can service any of the fire departments. No, not the CPG, not to this grant program, no.
Oh, okay. Okay, because yeah, that,
Yeah, I thought you did say we could.
It's an eligible fire department
It
equipment,
is, okay.
yes.
okay, yeah.
And Josh, you said a roof and sidewalk, right? The
At
senior
the
center?
community center, it needs a roof and it needs, the parking lot needs to be repaved.
Oh.
It actually is becoming a safety issue for the seniors, because there's probably 12 handicap spots there. And the
That's a
parking
good
lot's in
one.
pretty rough shape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel bad, it's a very restrictive program, I'm sorry, this is a very tough program, it's a CBG program to get this qualified.
That-
Thank you for your time. Mike.
Yeah.
But
no.
this is basically for the seniors, so I think. that
Yeah.
Yes.
May.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
90% of the utilization there is still.
Like I said, I'll get as much specs out as I can to them and see if they can do some pre-assessment and give us some direction.
Thank
And I'll follow up on the door project that you already have, mentioned, already have in the system,
Yeah, I
The
just,
door,
I
yes.
mean, that's been a year and I haven't, nothing's happened. I'm just wondering where we stand.
I'll ask Val and Peggy when they're
Okay.
tomorrow in the office.
Yeah, because that would be, we actually, the door at this point, since we planned that, that door is broken and the cost to replace it is silly when we're gonna be completely replacing. it
Place,
soon.
it makes sense to do it that way.
Yeah, so we're more concerned than
I'll follow
ever.
up tomorrow on that.
Thank you. And if I get something to you by the end of the week, do you think maybe by Wednesday afternoon, you might have a response?
Well, I wish I could say Val's on, our person does this is on vacation till Monday.
Okay, so,
So she's out of state, so my
Okay.
person who handles that's all the state till Monday, so probably towards the end of next week.
okay,
Probably before, I can say hopefully before the holiday,
yeah.
unless it's, but again, it goes to the state and then we're in our hands.
Yeah, we have a meeting next Wednesday night. I thought any information we have, any response.
I'll try, I'll put an expedite note on it and hopefully maybe get an answer from our state.
Whatever we can get. And what you can't, you can't. We'll give it a shot though. Okay,
And also, I should mention, April 12th, the state's actually coming to the county to see all projects. And one of the projects they're gonna be coming to see is the Audible project, which is down on, I wasn't here for that, where's the Clarksville Audible,
the what
they
project?
call it Clarksville Audible, I guess considered the,
Oh, the Audible.
yeah, I'm not sure if that project even was.
It was.
was here
the
for that,
one
so-
called
Yeah, the seal project, yes,
Yeah.
they actually see that.
Sections.
Yes, one of the state representative coming to, the state guy from DCD is gonna be coming to take pictures by all the recent projects, so he'll be coming to visit, and that's one of them. He's coming, I'll let you know, this is if I meet him or not,
Yeah,
but
sure.
I'm just scoring around the area, so.
That's so funny. The top
April
bill
12th,
here
yeah.
is paying for repair to one of those buttons,
Oh.
the talking buttons.
April 12th, he's coming, yes, so he's coming, to visit the county and see projects. I think he's gonna see the elevator as well, too, so that's
Great.
something we did.
Okay,
Well, thank you, appreciate it.
He's coming like
Thank you.
Santa Claus, but he ends up being a Grinch.
I apologize. I'm just the messenger. Yes, thank you, sir. No, I haven't.
oh, that was my pen that went along with that.
Oh, I don't know. Who else asked him, but all that. There was some family. Well, thank you, Council. Have a good night. Take care.
The next item, Virginia, the Abington Library.
Touch a truck. If we decide we want to do this, the vote would take place next week. So the Abington Library is doing the Touch a Truck event next month. They have asked if we would have DPW reps come and bring a truck, bring some equipment down and show it. The issue is it's on Saturday. So we'd have to pay the guys, it would be, the minimum for them to come in would be $170.50
4
per
hours,
person. But I think 2 people might be a good investment in the community. I mean, 2 people for one day.
I would definitely think so too. I mean, we got cut a break on our winter this year.
Yeah, we would, we would have them volunteer as far as we would make somebody go that
Right.
day, but if they were willing to, Jay already said he would be more than happy to.
Oh,
We've
good.
already talked about it. We'd love to bring, and the library is very excited about us getting a loader and the skid steer there. So, and then there'll be fire trucks and police cars and stuff like that. So,
Fire call, they had one at the fire company in the fall. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Kids love it, so. I mean,
Yeah.
It's nice.
yeah. Give some respect to what the DPW does, in town. All right, so we'll talk about that next week. I just wanted to throw that out there. The next thing we talked about using to apply for money from the county for for an audio system here in this office. It's about $6,400. I'm going to write up the grant application, but we needed to pass the resolution. And I have a copy of the resolution attached for us to vote on next week to go with it. So that's all. It's just,
How did you come up with the number 64?
I got a quote.
You got a quote. Are they all mics on stands that the three of us can use, or is everybody?
They're
have to
gonna
take their
be-
own mic?
There, it's gonna be 4 mics. So like one would be there and then 2 on the big tables and something for the audience or whatever we could do. And and a system to project the sounds, because we don't have that right now.
So
Okay.
where's the funding source for that?
County Reinvest, which is the money we talked about, that grant that I forget even what it was for. There was a grant, facade beautification, Route 6 grant.
Yeah.
We can't use that, but they were also talking about the county reinvest will match it. And I thought, well, we can apply for the reinvest.
My only thinking on that is we are not obligated to do this anymore.
No, this is not this.
But the
This is a
microphones
microphone system
would
for-
benefit this. I mean, do we have a real issue with sound around this table, or I know we've gotten complaints from people who can't hear us on Zoom.
Yeah,
And if we're spending
that's
money
true.
to do something we're not obligated to do, that we could otherwise spend on something else. I'm not sure about
Yeah,
that.
But we're not spending
It is-
money though, it's a grant, isn't it?
It's a
But
grant.
if we have other
right?
things we could spend that grant money on, that's the
Right.
question I'm asking. We're not
The
obligated
reinvest
to do
grant
this.
is available. Yeah, we could
So it's
see
not
if there's something
obligation
else.
to have it streamed on YouTube.
No.
No,
Okay.
no.
Anybody can sit here right now.
We've just been doing it because we started when we were, right, going through the pandemic. And we had the ability, we've just been keeping it up now. But yeah, there's no obligation to do it. Frankly, you would want to see the audience members come in
Right.
to participate rather than just watching and,
And I wonder if we didn't stream these anymore, if we get more people join up, get more community
Yeah.
participation.
we never
But
did.
we give them, I mean,
I know.
how many other municipalities are still
I know.
doing online?
I know.
Next
Thing is, we do have people that watch it, that don't come in. So I at least educate some people, but we have to weigh that out because we are paying $50 a month for the Zoom ability to do this too. So,
I'm not sure that we would get rid of that because it remains an option if something happens for us. I'm just saying.
Right.
And I don't know if we have other projects we would spend community reinvestment grant dollars on, but if we do. We need to weigh, are we allocating funds to one thing that is really a nice to have
I
as opposed to something
will
else?
I will email you guys the reinvest, a blank application with the introductory page, to talk about what it's for. I'll email that to you tomorrow so that you guys can look it over and decide if there's something else you'd rather, you think might be better spent on.
That's a good.
Is that also restricted? Virginia?
Well, that's what I'm gonna send you the criteria. It's not nearly as restricted as this
Yeah.
is, but it's maximum 25,000. We're not talking about big bucks. It's not gonna pave a road. We used it to create the pocket park on Depot Street. That was reinvest money.
Yeah, I don't know if you had something like what Joe had there, where it had to be ultra low income or whatever.
No, there will be some restrictions on how it can be used, but that's why I'm gonna send you
So
guys
it's 25,000?
25, up to 25.
What about that park, the floral park, the water park,
To do
or
what?
the garden or whatever? I
Yeah.
don't know, fix it up or something.
I'm waiting for a quote on that. I think we did put money in the budget for Josh Art to do some maintenance on it this
We
spring.
can use grant money,
he's gonna
that's
be
that's
getting-
better.
But again, if we're
Use-
talking a
use it
couple
for-
thousand, if there's something more that we would do, that, if it's a $10,000 project and a $4,000 project, I'd rather
Do
apply for the correct 10,000.
Yeah.
So I think that it's not gonna cost that much and we do have money there. We should look at something else.
Okay.
But I'll have that in the email to you tomorrow, so you guys can look it over, okay?
Thank you.
And the last thing that we have on here, and it's just to formalize, we had the pre-bid meeting with potential bidders for the trash contract. It was mandatory. 3 different companies showed up. They were all very interactive, very interested, asked a lot of good questions. I think that they walked out of there intending to bid, all 3 of them, which is really nice because now we have competition. Wait a minute. First of all, the town hall the fire company is giving us their banquet room. So it is booked for 7 PM on Wednesday, May 17th, the day that we talked about. So the town hall will be there. I'm gonna see if there's some way to do overhead projections or something so that we can display information as we're talking about it. And then when it gets a little closer, we'll work on a presentation. Yes,
My chatty Kathy,
yes, you are today.
do we have to make accommodations for the Zoom? For
No.
those at home?
No.
Oh, I thought.
We don't have to accommodate Zoom at all anymore. That's what Josh was saying. We don't.
Aware that.
Yeah, I don't think that would be-
People that watch the proceedings there.
Yeah, no. I mean,
This is the town hall, you have to.
we're trying to get and it is, I have a copy of the newsletter in your packet. It's just a printout, but you can see very thin, bold print, public town hall regarding trash pickup.
Will we need to be there early to set up?
The DPW are gonna set us up during the day. So, and they're gonna break it down the next morning. So we're good with that. We just want to be there early enough that the audience, somebody's there to greet the
Are we
audience
gonna
and
have an officer there?
a police officer.
Yeah.
I haven't talked about it. You think we need one?
I don't think it was heard. No?
I could certainly ask the chief that
Do you really?
we could
I don't
ask.
think with the climate we're in, I don't think it hurts to be.
We could always have call somebody. If something else happens.
We can ask the guy on duty to be there until or unless he gets called out.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just having a police officer present is, I don't know if that's the right vibe we want to have.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
kind of a chilling effect on people. I
Yeah.
want people to be able to feel like they can.
We'll ask them just to be available, circle the areas, just be there in case we need it.
Okay.
They'll be alerted. Okay,
Hopefully it's gonna be a very peaceful meeting, if they're gonna be very congression. I really don't think we're gonna see anybody coming. That's
I think
gonna.
we have public policy procedures on on speaking and stuff like that, or
Yes.
we'll do something.
Yes.
Mary Claire is gonna be the moderator.
right,
Josh.
okay. But so the last thing we wanted to talk about is, and we don't have to decide this today, we need an answer by April 5th, so really by next week. The bidders asked if they could attend the town hall. Now, the important thing to know is the bids are due the beginning of May, the town hall is the middle of May, so we will already have the bids and have them opened and know who the low bidder is. So I don't think all three companies are gonna come if they're not, probably just the low bidder might show up, and honestly, does he even need to be there? But Bob mentioned, and Mary Claire's ready to talk about if we need, he feels that we have to at least let them know, they're welcome to be there. We just don't necessarily want to go out of our way to invite them. Because you were saying about the right to trash contracts are one of the most legally bought.
Well, it's a public meeting. We can't tell them not to come.
Right.
They're the public too. They can come.
Right.
But I don't think, I personally don't think we want to have them, on a panel with us, ready to answer questions. I think this is our forum.
Right.
If we have questions, we should be asking those of the bidders on behalf of our residents.
So we'll finalize this next week, but theoretically, the answer is going to be, hey, this is it. You can show up if you want. We are not going to put you up there to speak, though.
Right.
They can talk to people on the side. Go ahead.
I apologize for the, so yes, I agree with that. I think if really the only way we would want to exclude anyone from a meeting would be if we were having an executive session. I think because it's a public meeting, then we have to give them the ability to attend. But I think that's the invite, is they may attend. And I think that's perfectly appropriate that it's council is there to answer any questions, and we give them the ability to just be present if they choose to.
And I mean, they could even be, you could have residents speak first and taxpayers speak first, and then if there's time available, they could speak. But just let it, I think letting everybody speak is
And
good.
it may be an advantage to us if there's a question that they would be able to answer that we didn't have the answer for.
Yeah.
They could intercept the correct answer. for
Again,
them.
by then, we're gonna pretty much know the cost of all the options and who the low bidder is, and we'll get, the residents are gonna make it clear which way they're leaning towards going. So then I don't think that it's gonna be a sales opportunity for them, because
Sure.
the decisions mostly there, but to have as resource isn't bad. All right, so
Just for the record, I am not in favor of having them here, period. This is a town hall meeting. It's meant for the residents of the borough. If they're residents, come on in. If they're not,
But
We can't exclude them. Right, but I don't think we want to explicitly ask them to come and give them any illusions that they're gonna have any role to play.
right, and that
Okay.
was never the beginning. They asked me if they could come.
Right,
So I said I'd let them know.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so we'll finalize this next week, but we have a pretty good idea where we want to go.
I think so.
This is a really light meeting tonight. Next week should be pretty easy. We don't really have a whole lot going on. The agenda is there. It's mostly just the routine.
So for next week, I think there's going to be a guest appearance in the solicitor role, if it's okay with everybody. The former solicitor Kevin Hayes will be coming to Clark Summit while I go speak to the FOP. So with everyone's approval, he will join you.
We miss us. Coming back home. He misses us.
Sounds good.
He's looking forward to it.
Should invite some of our residents that he sparred with in the past. For old council.
Yes. Oh, yes. Well. Everybody will be looking forward to next week then. Thank you, Mary Claire.
Thank you. I'll let him know.
Okay.
Okay, so then we'll see everybody next week.
Next week.
Bye, Mary Claire. I'm gonna log off.